Matt, we recently had the UK autumn budget. I mean, it was quite a shocker for most people, to put it mildly. Um, how does the UK autumn budget impact UK nationals moving to Gibraltar from the UK with respect to capital gains tax? That something that has been addressed in the budget?
It's an interesting one, Paul, actually, because they've covered some areas and maybe not others. And it's actually, for those relocating to Gibraltar, it's actually good news. I mean, firstly, the bad news, as a lot of people are probably aware now, the UK have increased the capital gains tax rate. So this is for UK residents. They've kept the rates on property, but they brought in capital gains rates on all other items. That's gone from the lower rate from 10 up to 18. And from the higher rate, it's gone from 20 to 24 for higher tax rate payers. So almost, a quarter of that capital gains will be paid on tax. So that's if you're a UK resident. Now, we've come across people who've moved with us to Gibraltar before and a lot of interest of late, not surprisingly, given the budget. And the exemption, if you exit the UK, still remains and it's not changed. So to give a practical example, someone wants to sell their business, and I know both of us have spoke to a few people recently about this, Paul. They move to Gibraltar. The first year that they're outside of the UK for a UK tax year. So using a practical example, they move at the start of 2025. So from April onwards, they're no longer UK tax resident. They pay no tax in the UK because they're a non-UK taxpayer as long as it's not UK property, and there's no capital gains tax in Gibraltar. That remains the case, and there's no changes like that. So there are caveats with that, Paul, and I think maybe this was what you were kind of asking about with the changes, and that hasn't changed, which has surprised me in the sense that you need to be out of the UK. You can't return to the UK for 5 full tax years. So if you return in that period, then they will charge you, they will backdate the capital gains tax. But pre-budget, that was 5 tax years, and that hasn't changed in the budget. That one surprises me. I don't know about you, Paul, but did you find that one surprising?
I'm very surprised because they are transitioning from a domicile to a residency regime,
Yes.
and there's a tail back of 10 years. So wouldn't you think that it would have been logical to extend that and say for 10 or more complete tax years before it becomes absolutely free of UK CGT?
No, absolutely. I think they had an
It,
opportunity to do so. They didn't take it. Will they do so in the future? It wouldn't surprise me if maybe they introduce that in future budgets, because there's a lot of talk of people now exiting the UK. If they see a lot of people exiting the UK, not paying UK capital gains tax, will they want to tighten that up a little bit? That's
you
something
you
we
you
can
would
see.
think so, Matt. I think, remember this is the autumn budget rather than the spring budget, which
Yes.
should be the real the one where they undertake more measures for revenue raising or or reducing taxes or whatever. So this is just a prelude to the autumn budget. So there could be some spring cleaning, excuse the pun, when it comes to the April budget, where they say, okay, we've rushed all these changes that were made to raise 40 billion in tax, but we've overlooked certain elements, and now we're going to go back and I'm going to clean everything up to in line with the new residency regime. So I think there's a real possibility that this will be has been overlooked, but it will be addressed 6 months from now. I don't know
But
about you, but I would, if I was an individual considering moving to Gibraltar, you had a UK company worth a certain amount, and you can do one or two things. Either you redomicile the company to Gibraltar and continue trading, or if there's a, if there's a liquidity event, a substantial liquidity event, and that is going to fund the new lifestyle, it would make a lot of sense to redomic to establish Gibraltar tax residency and then carry out this event as soon as possible before they go back to it and tighten the rules again.
I'd agree. I think if the budget has taught us one thing is there are changes going to happen, and I mean the increase in capital gains tax rate is immediate as well. So I think the message from this video today is if you have been considering Gibraltar, and you're a business owner, either to domicile the company here and move to Gibraltar, or you're going to sell the business in the short or medium term, then if that's something that you've been considering, now is the time to take advantage of this, because that is an opportunity. And will they close that window, or at least expand the time that you have to be outside of the UK? And also bear in mind the 5 years that you have to be out of the UK, that's relatively manageable. The longer they expand that period, the more uncertainty that brings, because if they extend it to 10 years, people may say, yeah, I want to leave the UK, but 10 years is a longer period of time, and there might be things that are going to draw you back to the UK. So I think really and truly with the budget, there's been a lot of bad news. Of course, those who will be staying in the UK, the increase of capital gains is bad news. For those who were considering moving to Gibraltar and saving on that capital gains, the opportunity is still there. But our advice at this point, at least mine, I'm not sure if you agree, Paul, but I think so, is you have this window, take advantage of it, of where you can.
Definitely act now before it's too late, because this Labour government is all about taxing, and I
Yes,
don't think they will leave any stone unturned. They'll go back, they'll revisit. Remember, they're trying to raise revenue, but they're not realizing they're reducing their tax base because there's going to be an exodus of UK nationals moving abroad, which is going to reduce their tax revenue, and they will revisit every area where they could raise revenue. So yeah, act now, I would say.
absolutely. So if today's video resonates with you, you're in that position, it's something you've been considering, reach out to us at Fiduciary Wealth. Either give us a call, or email us and arrange an appointment with one of us. We'll be happy to have an initial consultation with you and explain how we can help you do so. Perfect. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.